Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
Good morning, oranges. Top of the muffin to ya. Potato salad. We still on for lunch? Great. Sliced bread. You're the best thing I've seen since, well, you know. Oh, hello. Don't think I forgot about you. Friendly at Fairway. It's more than just a name.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, President of the Iowa Farm Bureau.
And I'm Erin Gerlich, Executive Director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We'd like to thank you for joining us for the Girls State Softball Tournament.
The Iowa Farm Bureau knows that strong, vibrant schools are the cornerstone of our communities. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and this amazing state tournament. This tournament not only showcases Iowa's elite teams, but the athletes competing here today are among our nation's best and brightest. And Iowa's farmers are among the nation's most productive. Our partnership with the Girls Union gives us the opportunity to recognize both, all while supporting and lifting up the Iowa girl.
With the help of the Iowa Farm Bureau, we celebrate students' efforts not only on the field, but in the classroom as well. The Iowa Farm Bureau is committed to your success and supports our organization and the Iowa Girl. Through millions of dollars they provide in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence.
As Iowans, we have a lot to be proud of. Whether you're a student competing here today or a fan tuning in, we all play an important role in making our state great. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau
and the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union,
congratulations to your school on a terrific season, and good luck in the tournament games.
Good afternoon and welcome to Iowa Central Field here at the Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, home of the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. Dar Danielson here with you on the Girls Union Mid-American Energy, Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy as we get ready for the 5A semifinal between number 2 Lin-Mar and number 6 Cedar Falls. Daniel Versteeg is here with me here on this one, and this is an interesting matchup with these two.
Yeah, you look at these two teams, they're conference rivals and had to play some pretty good teams. Southeast Polk in the quarterfinals, Pleasant Valley, Lin-Mar won. It's going to be a really good matchup. Third time these two have played.
All right, we got the starting lineups coming up.
From Cedar Falls. Number 1, Lainey Schmidt. Number 6, Olivia Strelo. Number 8, Maddie Burkhart. Number 9, Allie Wildemore. Number 12, Lauren Weichman. Number 14, Delaney Flanshaw. Number 15, Josie Turner. Number 18, Bryn Hope. Number 19, Briar Ludeman. Number 20, Braylon Dolman. The assistant coaches, Lydia Butters and Addie Macarat. Now let's meet the starters for the Tigers. Leading off, the junior, the shortstop, number 4, Lexi Trueg. Batting second, a senior, the center fielder, number 10, Sophie Stanning. Batting third, a freshman, the first baseman, number 16, Kennedy Bustle. Batting fourth, a junior, the third baseman, number 17, Amanda Fink. Batting fifth, the pitcher, number 22, Sydney Runyon. Batting sixth, a freshman, the second baseman, number 2, Charlie Henrik. Batting seventh, the sophomore, the left fielder, number 7, Carly Turner. Batting eighth, a senior, the catcher, number 5, Kira Raji. And batting ninth, the right fielder, number 3, Gabby Hanks. Head coach for Cedar Falls, Sam Templey. Now let's meet the non-starters and assistant coaches for Linn-Mar. Number 8, McKinley Sweet. Number 13, Addie Peters. Number 14, Ainsley Johnson. Number 22, Emerson Rutan. The assistant coaches are Shannon Aguero Jones and Megan Cesare. And now let's meet the starters for the Lions. Leading off, a freshman playing first base, number 10, Brenna Gander. Batting second, a junior, the center fielder, number 5, Hayden Goatee. Batting third, a senior, the pitcher, number 9, Emily Duranda. Batting fourth, the sophomore, the third baseman, number 17, Annie Cassidy. Batting fifth, a senior, the shortstop, number 11, Emma Barnes. Batting sixth, the sophomore, the left fielder, number 1, Mallory Palmer. Batting seventh, the senior, the DP, number 3, Lexus Cruz. Batting eighth, a senior, the catcher, number 4, Kaylee Alvey. Batting ninth, a junior, the second baseman, number 2, Carson Michael. And the flex player, a junior in right field, number 6, Reagan Borchers. Head coach for Linn-Mar is Maddie Colbert. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the area in front of home plate for the introduction of our umpires. At first base, Derek Matlock. At third base, Mike Lang. And calling balls and strikes, Jake Parker. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for state tournament softball.
All right, we are ready here. Class 5A semifinals, and the winner meets up with Waukee Northwest. Let's take a look at how these two got here. Defeated Southeast Polk, Cedar Falls did. 12-11 in a shootout in the quarterfinals. Amanda Fink had a grand slam in the first inning. For Linn-Mar, 34-6, defeated Pleasant Valley in the quarters 5-1. Emily Coranda, 3 for 4 with a double and a complete game with 12 strikeouts. So a couple of teams here that appear to match up pretty good here.
Yeah, well, they played each other in the regular season. They're both out of the Mississippi Valley Conference, different divisions, but they still play each other on a regular basis. They split their regular season series, all right? So you got a rubber match here at the state tournament, and I think the most impressive part, seeing Cedar Falls on Monday, this is the first time the program has ever been to the state tournament, and they came out and put 5 runs in the top of the first inning against Southeast Polk. The grand slam, obviously, from Amanda Fink was 4 of them. So this team has proven, hey, the jitters don't get to them. They're ready to go right away, and Linn-Mar is going to have to be ready for it, I think.
And I have to say, growing up in that area, I read that and I thought, wait a minute,
right?
Is that right? I read it. Cedar, never been here in softball because all the other sports they've been.
They're at state every year, everywhere
all
else.
the time. But just one of those things. But they have the right coach, the right team here, and ready to go. And before we get started, let's tell you about the Iowa Farm Bureau. The 2025 Girls State Softball Championships presented by the Farm Bureau is the sole title sponsor. Iowa Farm Bureau believes in the Iowa girl, cultivating character, work ethic, leadership, on and off the field. By investing in Iowa's youth, we're investing in Iowa's futures. So for Cedar Falls, Lexi Truig will lead it off, the shortstop, followed by Sophie Stanek, the center fielder, and Kennedy Bushcole, the first baseman. Emily Coranda on the mound, or in the circle, I should say. And Coranda had 1 walk, 12 strikeouts in that win in the quarterfinals as the first pitch is fouled off.
And I think the biggest thing there is the 1 walk, right? She didn't put herself in bad spots. You can win a lot of softball games by just being very consistent, limiting base runners by limiting mistakes, obviously.
And if I think back, the 1 walk might have been the 1 run that they got. There's a strike. 0-2 out ahead on the batter.
What do they say? Walks come back to haunt, right?
Yeah.
That certainly rings true here.
Kaylee Alvey behind the plate. Very solid back there. Here's the 0-2. Fouled off. Carson Michael at second, Emma Barnes at short, Annie Cassidy at third. The outfield left to right for Linn-Mar, Mallory Palmer, Hayden Calthy, and Reagan Borcher. This one, chopper to the shortstop. Takes a rough hop on her, but she comes through. No, they pulled her off. So they'll charge that as an error here.
You mentioned that second hop really kind of ate up Barnes a bit. She made a nice recovery to get that ball out of the glove, quick throw, but yeah, you could see the heel just came up off the first base bag, and that was ever so close to enough to allow the base runner on a hit. They're going to say it's a single.
That brings up Sophie Stanek, 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored in the quarterfinal. This one bunted high up to the pitcher. She'll look back the first no play there as Truitt gets back right away. Now, I posited a theory that this field being wetter than it has been in the past because of all the rain, it hasn't dried out completely, so we're getting a few rougher spots than what we normally see. I've seen a lot of weird hops at this tournament, more so than, what we normally do.
Yeah, and there's certainly got to be some inconsistencies with that. Like some holds water better, some doesn't. All in all, the grounds crew has done a great job with this field and making it playable. But, yeah, it's just the nature of the season, right? Wherever you are in the state, we've gotten a lot of rain kind of messing with the fields.
Kennedy Bushcole up. Takes it low, ball 2. She was 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored in the quarterfinal. Starts out 2-0 with Coranda. Looks in. There's a strike.
And I will make note, if you keep score at home with us, they did put that leadoff base runner on with an error after originally flashing up a hit. So I think the error probably goes on the first baseman there.
It's low. Yeah, I don't know. Was it first baseman or shortstop, depending on how it was a throw. The throw seemed to be there, but
depending on how you want to view it, I guess.
But either way,
either
runner
way.
on first, 1 out, and a 3-1 count. Brings it right in on the inside edge as Bushcole was thinking she was going to get the free pass, but now we go full count here. And Coranda, in that opening game, just like any pitcher, she got started out and then got in a groove and just kind of was feeling good. And right here, one line to the shortstop. She'll go to second, get the lead runner on the fielder's choice.
Now, what a great turn there. That was going to be a tough play. As you mentioned, it got past the third baseman, had to go to the shortstop deep in the hole. Ended up being a longer throw. She, again, as we saw, even on that error that she had, that was resulted in the first play, she gets the ball out of her glove quickly and makes a really good, accurate throw. Barnes has made some good plays over there.
Amanda Fink had a home run, 1 for 4 with 4 RBI in the quarterfinal. This one is low.
was her 11th home run of the season. Both her and Sydney Runyon, they went back-to-back for home runs in that first inning against Southeast Polk.
And they had 4 altogether, setting the 5A record. So
yeah, really impressive performance against a good team. You think about it, Cedar Falls had never been here before. Southeast Polk, they're here every other year, it feels like, or sometimes back-to-back years. And Cedar Falls didn't budge. They took their punches and proved they belong.
Here's the 2-0. Fouled off. Over Runyon, has to do a little move out of the way over there in the on-deck circle. Very tight on the on-deck circle here.
It is. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of room over there. Amanda's just making sure Sydney's paying attention over there and getting ready to swing.
Runner at first, 2 outs. The 2-1 is low.
And you could tell Caranda's trying to keep the ball down. Doesn't want to give her a pitch that she can hit another home run with. Seeing each other in the regular season, she knows those strengths obviously as well.
A little wind today. There's a cut and a miss and a strikeout. Or no, that's strike number 2, excuse me. I was starting to say the wind a little bit, not as much as it blowing out yesterday that helped some. I was over on the other field, not a few home runs over there, aided by the wind. This one is ripped foul.
Yeah, and it's not even as windy as it was a couple of hours ago. Right at the start, first few innings of the Northwestern Centennial game was really windy. Calmed down, kind of helped stabilize things a little bit.
But the breeze is nice because it keeps us from being so warm.
Oh, we need it here. It's been a warm one.
Here's the 3-2 again. This one inside and walks her.
What a take. That pitch was right there. That's an easy one to swing and miss. Kind of an elevated fastball. Looks so good, but a really good take by Fink and allows Runyon a chance to give herself the lead before she even throws a pitch.
Sydney Runyon, the pitcher, she was 2 for 4 with a home run. A run scored and an RBI, of course, with the home run. So runners at first and second, fouls that one back.
Yeah, it's been Runyon and Fink. I know Coach Tepley mentioned that these are the ones that, boy,
they're going to walk her.
Yeah, they're going to walk her. Wow. After getting the count 0-1. Reminder, first base was not open.
Yeah.
So they're willingly loading the bases. Lin-Mar has seen Cedar Falls twice. They know the damage that Sydney Runyon can do.
Take it, the next batter, make them
yes
do it instead of if she sends one out of here, it's a 3-1 lead early.
Well, because I was going to talk about Samantha Tepley has said so much that Runyon and Fink, they're the ones that have carried the Tigers offensively. And, of course, Lin-Mar knows that. Head coach Maddie Colbert doesn't want to give them an opportunity to make them pay early.
Brings up Charlie Henricks, the second baseman. She was 2 for 4 with a run scored in the quarterfinal.
And we also have a courtesy runner, Braylon Dolmans, at first.
For our IMT insurance substitution, learn how you can be worry free at imtins.com. So bases loaded here, 2 outs with the intentional walk. Charlie Henricks coming up. We'll see if she can make him pay or not. Right down the tube for strike 1. To the number 6 batter. Top of first inning here in this 5A semifinal. Winner will meet Milwaukee Northwest. This one, swing and a miss, strike 2.
Boy, those are some real gutsy pitches with 2 outs, bases loaded. Those 2 have come right down the heart of the plate. She's basically daring Henricks. Here it is. See what you can do with it.
Got a feeling this one's going to be off or high a little bit. Have her reaching for it. Comes outside and rings her up looking. Ends the inning on a strikeout. So no runs on no hits and 3 left on. At the end, there's 1 error or 2 and 3 left on at the end of a half inning. No score here. It'll be Lin-Mar coming up at the bottom of the first after this at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
You're watching the Girls Union Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Dar Danielson, Daniel Versteeg, and Linn-Mar will come up to bat after getting out of bases loaded. Well, they created themselves walking the intentional walk, but Sydney Runyon started out, and she went about 2 innings, gave up 10 hits, 9 runs, and then they brought on Trurig yesterday, but they're coming right back with her here today.
Yeah, and you know, you kind of want to go with the one that brought you to the dance, right? The unfortunate thing, first couple of innings, Runyon had some shaky innings, allowed 6 runs those first 2 innings. I think you give her a day. She was probably the one that had the worst jitters for Cedar Falls. Give her a day, calm down, and see if she can go back to what she's been doing all season for you in the circle.
Brenna Gander, she was 1 for 2 with a double, or 1 for 3, excuse me, in a double in the quarterfinal. That ball is low. And they hit, what was it? I think 3 doubles altogether in that game. (1-0) hit right to the second baseman, big hop into her chest, but Charlie Hendricks comes up with it.
Well, and that's a great play. You know, catchers know this so well. You can use your body incredibly well to block a softball. You don't have to glove everything. Yeah, it looks cool. It looks great. But sometimes just getting your body as big as possible, knocking it down, making the play is the best.
And when you know you're at second, you got plenty of time.
Right.
That brings up Hayden Coatney and takes a strike. She's the center fielder. 1 for 4 in the quarterfinal round. Takes it high, 1-1.
Now that's huge for Runyon too, because like we mentioned, first couple of innings really rough, 6 runs by Southeast Polk on Monday. Getting a first batter to go out on 2 pitches hopefully calms her down and gets her back to what she's done all season.
That one's high, 2-1. Runyon in the circle, Cararachi behind the plate. This one fouled back, 2-2. Kennedy Bushcole at first, Charlie Hendricks at second, Lexi Truig at short, Amanda Fink at third. The outfield left to right, Carly Turner, Sophie Stanek, and Gabby Hanks for the Cedar Falls Tigers here. Bottom of the first, 1 out, 2-2 count now. That one is high and outside, full count.
You know, Rachi tried her best to help her pitcher out with maybe a little bit of a frame at the top of the zone, but you got some of the best umpires in the state of Iowa. They're gonna keep their zone pretty true here at the state tournament.
This one, kind of a check, maybe swinging at that high pitch and it fouls it off, but stays in there.
Yeah, the thing throughout the regular season with a lot of these pitchers has always been we're strikeout pitchers. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. You rack up 10 or 12. Here at the state tournament, we really haven't seen a whole lot of that outside of the first game for Waukee Northwest. These hitters are so good at fighting these pitches off.
This one hit toward right, going back and making the play about 3 steps over Gabby Hanks. The right fielder pulls it in for out number 2.
You can tell the Lions are just a little bit tardy on Runyon and maybe not quite seeing it well enough out of the hands. But that's something that'll change as the game goes along. They just got to see a few pitches, figure out the timing, and they'll be ready to go.
Brings up Emily Caranda, the pitcher, 3 for 4 in the quarterfinal. Takes the ball.
Yeah, boy, was she a one-person wrecking crew in in that quarterfinal win.
This one is going to go foul on the row. Just had to stop Hanks as it hit the tarp over there. Now, if that tarp is in there, she might have enough room to get to it, but you got to have the tarp there in case. I'm not going to even say the word.
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it at all.
Don't want to
anyway.
put that in the ether.
No.
But yeah, that's an obstacle that not a lot of softball diamonds in the state of Iowa have. You got to learn how to play the outfield just a little bit differently because of it.
1-1. Just off the outside edge. 2-1. This one, that one, yeah! Oh, Hanks brings it in on the run. If that drops, that might get to the wall. Let's see the replay here.
Yeah, the glove was no more than an inch off the top of the grass. We're going to get a chance to see it here. A great hustle. You can see how deep she is in right field. That ball's sinking, and wow. Gloves right above the grass. What a catch.
And Lin-Mar goes down in order. We'll come back with the top of the second after this at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
Different people have different needs, so Delta Dental of Iowa has affordable dental and vision coverage that meets you where you are. Small business on a budget? We have options with no employer costs. Traditional Medicare plans don't cover dental, but we do. And if you can't get benefits at work, you can buy direct from us. Plus, we give back to local communities, so you help make an impact. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, for your community.
You're watching the Girls Union Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy. We'll go to the bottom of the second inning here. Top of the second inning here for the Tigers. 7, 8, and 9 batters due up as they loaded them up with an error, one walk, one intentional walk, and then getting out of the inning. But how about Lin-Mar coming back? And got a couple hits, but didn't get him to drop, and so Sydney Runyon puts him down in order to start it.
Yeah, 2 well-hit balls. Caranda's line out. Obviously, we showed the replay going into the break, and then that hard-hit ground ball first out of the inning was a one-hopper right at Henricks at second. She made a great play on it. Otherwise, Lin-Mar's probably threatening in the bottom of the inning.
Here's Carly Turner for Cedar Falls. 1 for 4 with an RBI to run scored in the quarterfinal. She plays left field. Chopper to short. This time waits on it, fires over. And it's the 6-3 putout. Brings up the catcher, Kira Rachi, excuse me. 2 for 4, 2 RBI, a double, and a run scored. So she had a pretty good day at the plate in the opener.
Yeah, that double, I mean, it was such a back-and-forth game on Monday against Southeast Polk. The Tigers took a 5-0 lead. It was tied at 6. Southeast Polk led 10-6. But Rachi's double late in that game tied the game. And, of course, Cedar Falls had that monumental pinch hit home run from Josie Turner to give them the lead for good.
Fouled off, 1-1.
This field's had some great games, and I think this one's going to be no different.
Granda looks into Albie. Swing and a miss. Got her swinging at that high one that kind of came in on her. 1-2. That one right in there. Got her looking.
That's a really good 1-2 pitch. It's right on the outside corner. It looks like it might miss. And then it just comes right back over the plate and steals strike 3 for the second out.
Second strikeout here. Brings up Gabby Hanks, the right fielder, the number 9 hitter for the Tigers. Holds off on the first pitch, and it's a ball.
Now, you can tell Coranda's settling in. Didn't give up a hit in that first inning. Just a few unfortunate bounces that allowed base runners.
That one fouled straight back at my face.
You would have gotten out of the way of that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or caught it. But
Yep.
thankfully there's a net there. Although there's a few missing links up there that worry me a bit.
I have looked at that as these games have gone along. There's just a little hole up above us. I think it's technically small enough that it won't let a softball through, but you never know until it happens.
2-1. Coranda wipes the ball off, now brings it and gets the strike right on the edge.
Yeah, she's living on that outside edge right now, really forcing Cedar Falls to, if they're going to make contact, shoot it the other way to that strong right side of the outfield.
This one lifted high. Center fielder comes over. Kothi makes the play. And the Tigers go down in order. So back-to-back innings where we go down in order here. And we'll go to the bottom of the second with the 4-5-6 due up for Linn-Mar at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
You're watching the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Unit Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. And it'll be the 4-5-6 batters due up for Lin-Mar here in the bottom of the second. Both teams going down in order. In the last at bat, sophomore Annie Cassidy, the third baseman, will lead it off.
And if you're Lin-Mar, you really don't want to go away from what you did in the first inning. Yeah, you went down in order, but you still hit the ball really hard. You just unfortunately found red jerseys. And so if you keep that same approach, keep getting good barrels on the ball, you're going to get rewarded eventually.
Takes ball one. This one hit over the head of the second baseman. She'll round first. And the first hit of the day for Lin-Mar. And Cassidy was 1 for 4 with an RBI double in the quarterfinal. Brings up the shortstop, Emma Barnes. She was 2 for 4 with the home run. 2 RBI and a run scored.
And right on cue, hard hit ball right into the alley. You hit it hard enough, it's going to find some green grass eventually. Really good play by Gabby Hanks. Cut it off to hold extra bases.
Chopper back to the pitcher. She can't get it, and everybody's safe.
That was a tough one to handle. I think she was expecting that hop to maybe come up a little bit higher. And we'll see again. Yeah, that one hop kind of went a little too low on her and ended up kind of in that in-between second hop, kind of an awkward spot to feel the softball. And that's the outcome. That's why you try and get that first hop if you can.
Brings up Mallory Palmer. She was 2 for 4 in the quarterfinal. Tries to bunt everybody over, but that one goes foul.
And, of course, sometimes not hitting the ball hard can get you on base as well. And Lin-Mar's now gotten on both ways with hard hits and bunts.
Here's the 0-1. Now this bunt is laid down perfectly, and the pitcher sacrifices the runners over into scoring position.
And Fink was all over that bunt. Got there quickly, got the surefire out, did exactly what she needed to do, and now you just hope that you can settle in and retire these bottom third hitters and leave the Lions off the scoreboard.
Brings up Alexis Krug, the senior DP. Takes a ball.
Only 3 RBIs coming into the state tournament for Krug. This would be a really big swing for her season.
Yeah, 1-0 for 4 in the quarterfinal. This one a chopper out to the shortstop. She's going to have to go to first, so they'll score the run on the fielder's choice. And Lin-Mar will go up.
Yeah, really nice job. You just got to put the ball in play. That's the biggest thing once you get to this point with 2 on and 1 out. And she did a nice job. And now RBI number 4 on the season comes in a big spot.
Kaylee Alvey, the catcher, the senior, comes to the plate. She was 0 for 3 in the quarterfinal. Takes it outside.
It's really big that you get production out of the bottom third of the order, especially in the opening round of the state tournament. That's where you sometimes see the most jitters, but Lin-Mar certainly proved that they didn't have a whole lot of those on Monday.
1-0. Ripped through the left side for a base hit to score another run.
Now that's huge. You get a well-stroked ball from Alvey, and it's her second hit of the tournament, as you mentioned, and just a really clean piece of hitting. And that is crucial because the error on that bunt has now led to 2 unearned runs, as it looks like Ainsley Johnson is going to courtesy run for the catcher, Alvey.
So that's an IMT Insurance substitution brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free at IMTIMS.com. Karsten Michael, the second baseman. She was 1 for 2 with an RBI in the quarterfinal. And that one comes way inside. She kind of half swung at it and takes a strike there.
That's more of a defensive swing, trying to see if you can duck out of the way of it in time.
Here's the 0-1, right in there. The Runyon going right after the number 9 batter here. And strikes her out to end the inning. Not before Lin-Mar gets 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 errors, and 1 left on. At the end, 2 complete, 2-0 Lin-Mar. Back with the top of the third after this, the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, an Iowa farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud title sponsor of the state softball tournament, the Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to creating a vibrant future for Iowa through partnerships and programs that help cultivate individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. Making it to the state tournament is a great accomplishment that takes a lot of support. That's why we provide millions of dollars in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence. The well-being of Iowa students is also very important to Farm Bureau. That's why we provide concussion insurance coverage at no cost for all students in grades 9 through 12 who participate in a sanctioned sport. As just one of only 7 states to provide this coverage, it's just another way we're striving to support Iowa's outstanding young leaders. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau, congratulations to all the players and coaches on an outstanding season, and good luck in the tournament.
You're watching the Girls Union Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy. Top of the third inning, the Tigers, top of the order, Lexi Truick. She reached on an error. Her last time up, this one popped straight up. Second baseman comes through. A little bit of wonderment there between the shortstop and second baseman, but
Barnes almost sabotaged Michael there
Yeah.
because she was tripping and stumbling and trying to catch her balance.
Almost ran
again.
into her and knocked the ball away, but Michael got it. Sophie Stanek, she flied out to the pitcher first time up. This one a hot shot to the shortstop, comes over, and there's 2 away.
Well, 2 pitches, 2 outs. Can't start an inning much better than that. And really,
Well, and for a pitcher,
Yeah.
you look up and you see 2 runs on the board. That helps you out a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know, always
Gives you-
give you a little bit of.
gives you the surety that, hey, you know what, if I make a mistake, we still got a little cushion to be done.
There's a strike delivered to Kennedy Bushgold, the first baseman. She reached on a fielder's choice her last time up. That one hangs just outside.
Trying to go with a changeup there, and you could tell the kind of the way she released it. It was kind of more of a backhanded kind of flick of the wrist that way. Really, really interesting changeup.
There's a strike. 1-2. This is 84 degrees, which is not too bad here. I think it might, I don't know if it's a little more than that. Popped up, shortstop will make the play, and the Tigers go down in order here in the third. And Linn-Mar will come up to bat with that 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the third at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
The Iowa Farm Bureau knows that strong schools build strong communities. That's why they proudly support the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union in this Girls State Softball Championship. By supporting Iowa's youth, they're helping build Iowa's future. Well, we go to the top of the third, and looks like top of the order here for Linn-Mar, too. Brenna Gardner, the first baseman, grounded out to second her last time up. And freshman
Yeah, Gander hit it hard, too, in that first at bat. We talked about it with a great play by Henricks.
Yeah, Gander. I said Gardner.
That's all right.
Sorry.
That's right. But, you know, again, hitting the ball hard is crucial, and she did that. She hits it hard.
Speaking it there, way back off the fence. She'll tow it 102nd. Good throw in from the center fielder, Stanek, but she slides in safely for, let's see the replay here.
Boy, she narrowly missed a home run. This ball hits high off the top of the fence and nearly left the yard. Would have been a huge swing. Like you said, really good throw, really competitive at second base.
Channel Seed's Extra Base Hit. All Extra Base Hits brought to you by Channel Seed. Learn more at channel.com/rise. So that brings up Hayden Coutney, the center fielder. She flied out to right her last time up. And now Rachi runs that ball out there. Keep a close eye on Gander.
Yeah, it's tough when you have a runner on second. The defense has to shift so differently, and it's not as much cover everywhere with everybody crashing in on a bunt and having to have different responsibilities.
2-0 the count. Here now to Coutney, the center fielder. She's going to bunt it. Nice bunt down the third baseline. It takes a little weird hop there. I think they might score that a single.
I would hope so as well, because
Yeah.
that was a perfect bunt. There's bunting to just get the runner on or runner around, and there's bunting to get on base as well. She did both exceptionally well right at the third baseman because
– And she didn't show it till late, too, so everybody
right.
was back.
Yeah, and the third baseman has to worry about, okay, do I need to cover the bag to get that lead runner? And so if you put it in that perfect spot up the line, you can get on base easily, and she did that. And she is, thankfully, credited with a bunt base hit there.
So now runners at the corners, no outs here in the bottom of the third inning, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Coranda. She flied out to right on that great running catch by the right fielder. Coranda, the senior. And she'll step in looking to help her own cause again here. Pulls back, and the runner going, no throw.
Yep, they're willing to give up second base there. That's no problem. The biggest focus right now is keeping runners off the board. You don't want to fall behind too big against a Linn-Mar team that can pile runs up.
That one's a ball. 1-1.
Especially with Coranda with her. I mean, she was robbed of a hit at the end of the first inning, and you know she's going to be looking for revenge here.
It's a ball. To say they're taking everything outside, it's not that they're late on it, but all the pitches have been kind of outside,
right.
And they're going with the pitches.
Yeah, you know, you do what you have to get on base, and if that pitch is there, you got to go with it.
This one hit toward right. That one's going to drop this time to the wall. One run is in. Another run is in, and there's a double for Coranda. 2 RBI.
Well, it's another hit the other way, and a really strong swing, too, just on that pitch off the plate. She goes with it and is rewarded with 2 bases.
Another Channel Seeds Extra Base Hits brought to you by Channel Seeds. Find out more at channel.com/rise. And man, you talk about seeds. Coming driving up through here, the corn looks great.
It
the
does.
Beans looks great. I think all the rain and the heat, it might have grown a foot and a half yesterday from the time I drove. As you come out here from the hotel, and right by the hotel too, there's a big cornfield, but
yep.
Anyway.
Yeah. Our farmers have been blessed, thankfully. It's been a good season for them. And
I don't. Some places have had a little drought. I
don't
know what the drought monitor will say tomorrow, but probably say you're getting a little bit out of that.
Yeah, I think it got updated to about 85% of the state, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
last week was
the new
out
one
of
will
it,
come
so.
out tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
But anyway, it'll bring up the sophomore third baseman Annie Cassidy. She had the single and scored.
And we have a new pitcher as well, as Cedar Falls has to go back to Lexi Truitt, the one who kind of calmed things down against Southeast Polk. And she is a change again, just trying to give Lin-Mar a different look in the circle.
So Truitt will be an IMT insurance substitution. So how did they do that? She comes in from short. Do they send Runyon? Or where do they, let's see, who's
Looks
out
like
there now?
Runyon goes to first base, and then Buskell goes to short.
Okay.
That's what they did on Monday, too. So just a little 3-person change that way.
Oh, yeah. Easy for you to do a little 3-person change on my score sheet here. This one lifted high toward left, dropping off the fence. And the run scores. So a long RBI single by Cassidy.
Boy, if softball isn't a game of inches, I don't know what sport is. That ball was maybe a half a foot away from being a 2-run homer instead because she hit it so hard.
And yesterday's wind, it would have been out.
It would have been out easily.
Today's wind didn't give it quite as much push.
No, instead she's held to a single just because the center fielder could get to it so quickly.
Emma Barnes, the shortstop. She reached on an error and scored. There's a strike. So Truitt comes in and now there's Barnes. Oh, pulled the string. Runner gets back at first.
And that's kind of what we're talking about with the different look. Runyon hadn't really thrown a whole lot of change-ups in the first couple of innings, so now Lin-Mar's got to adjust to, okay, this pitcher's got a change-up, and she's willing to use it.
Yeah, because they were hitting her a little bit, but they got outs, and that one's fouled off in the first inning, and then you get a single and then the error thrown in there. Didn't help, but so now it's 0-2 on Barnes. She fouled that one off to hang in there. Cassidy at first. This one hit toward right. 2 steps back for Hank. She makes the play for out number 1.
Hit it right at her, and unfortunately for Lin-Mar, couldn't keep their run going, but Cedar Falls needed that out big time because 4 straight hits, 2 of them for extra bases, and 2 of them hit off the wall. That's been kind of the name of the game for Lin-Mar this inning.
It was double, single, double, single. Sounds like my order at Wendy's, but there's a strike.
Sounds really good right now.
I know, I shouldn't have mentioned that.
I know.
I got myself hungry, too.
It's lunchtime, goodness. Can't do that to me, Dar.
So here's Jurek trying to buckle down here. Oh, pulled the string on that one again. 1-1.
And at this point, if you're Truegg, you don't want to keep throwing the same pitch, but if they can adjust to it, you might as well, because she's made a couple of hitters look silly back-to-back.
Yeah, and you got to work it in, as you said, because you can't just let them jump on that other pitch. Here's the...
Oh, she engaged the rubber and then brought her hands apart before stepping off. So that's going to be a legal pitch, ball 1.
Okay, so that'll put the count at 1-2.
Yep.
Swing and a miss, struck her out. Reaching on that one. So Trug, after giving up that hit, has battled back here, got the next 2 batters out.
And the onus is on Lin-Mar now because they got to adjust to these slow off-speed pitches.
This one is looping out. Hanks draws a bead and makes the catch to end the inning. They get 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors, 1 left on base. Here at the end of 3 complete, 5-0 Lin-Mar. The Tigers will come up top of the 4th with some work to do here at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/WeCare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number. At SWIC, we are one.
Back here, it's the 5A semis at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau here. Iowa Central Field, it'll be 4, 5, and 6 for Cedar Falls. Had some runners on, but unable to get runs across the plate thus far. Daniel Versteeg alongside Dar Danielson here. And they're taking a little hydration break, which they're still doing with the heat up there. Smart thing to do.
Yeah, because right now the air temperature in Fort Dodge, at least by my handy-dandy phone, is 90 degrees. Feels like 93. So, yeah, you want the best softball played. Obviously, the conditions are less than ideal. So you got to give these players a break. Because we talked about it in the first game today. The intensity of these games alone can bring an athlete to sweating extra and overexerting themselves. You add that with a 90-degree day. There's not a cloud in the sky, and you could add to some dangerous conditions. So it's good by the girls' union to say, all right, yeah, we know people are going to be sitting and not doing anything for 3 minutes, but it's more important for player safety.
And again, the breeze does feel good. We're under the stands here, behind the plate. You can probably see us now and then, so it's not too bad around the sun. Now the fans, some of them, of course, in the outfield, they're sunning, and then the sides here, but obviously bring plenty of sunblock. And then we have the tents out there. And the worst job is the catchers and the umpires, because they have the extra equipment on.
Yeah, no kidding. Those people are real troopers, because all that equipment. I feel bad for Lin-Mar catcher Alvy here. That it's all black, so it's all going to take that sun a little bit extra for her. But she seems to be doing all right.
And also, you do kind of get acclimated to it through the season. And always, you were talking I think it was yesterday about the tasseling and baling hay, and you kind of get used to that in the summers.
Yep.
And it's just me. I like the heat compared to the cold, because in the heat you can drink the water, you can stay cooler. In the winter, once you get cold, it seems like it's hard to warm up.
I've told that to so many people too. I'd rather sweat a bunch during a day than have to bundle up in negative 10-degree weather. That's why softball season is my favorite season of the year.
Okay, enough about the weather. Let's go to
Let's get back to the game.
Amanda Finks, the third baseman. She walked her first time up, so no official at-bat yet here. Emily Caranda in the circle. Kaylee Alvey behind the plate. That one loops in high. Bryn Gardner at first, Carson Michael at second, Emma Barnes at short, Annie Cassidy at third. Outfield is Palmer, Kuthi, and Borcher, left to right. This one's swing and a miss.
It's worth noting Caranda's retired 7 in a row. That came after the intentional walk of Sydney Runyon, who's in the on-deck circle. She's in a great groove right now, just putting these batters away.
There's a ball. Yeah, and I think you see that when you start, kind of like Turing. She came out and took her one batter, and then you kind of settle in. It's a little different pitching here. There's a strike. 2-2. Finks trying to get things started off here in the top of the fourth. Takes it inside. And she's key too. She gets on. You got the big stick coming up, and then it makes it a little more decisions to make for the defensive team. 3-2, fouls it back, hangs in there.
Yeah, it just gives you so many more options. If Fink gets on, and then Runyon's power, you give herself opportunities to drive in runs. And not to say Fink can't do it herself, because she's more than capable of it too. But you want those runs to be impactful more than just a solo homer.
Yeah, 2-run or more homer, always better than the single home run. It's nice, and she struck her out. So Caranda comes back, gets the strikeout. And that's strikeout number 3 for her. Brings up Runyon, intentionally walked her last time up to load the bases back in the first inning.
As we mentioned, that's the last Tiger to reach base.
There's a ball.
I really like that first pitch. Caranda's got a little bit of kind of down and in movement on that pitch, and if you can keep it at the bottom of the zone, then it just falls off the table, you can get a lot of swings and misses.
This one to the first baseman. She gloves it, and Bryn Gander steps on first. And there's 2 away.
She made that play look easy. Had to go to her glove side there, and stuck with the play well to get the second out of the inning.
Second baseman, Charlie Henricks, struck out looking her last time up, takes a strike on the first pitch here. Foul back. Coranda now ahead 0-2 on the batter.
Yeah, that's something Coranda's done so well today is she just gets ahead of hitters, and by the time you have even really settled into the batter's box, you're behind 1-2 or 0-2, and it's really tough to come back from that.
And this one popped up. It's going to drop fair. Got her in time, the catcher, Alvey. Let's take a look here before we...
Well, and I thought that Alvey was probably misplaying this. The backspin looked like it might have bounced back foul, but she knew what she was doing. Great accurate throw quickly to get the third out of the inning.
So on the big play, the Tigers have now gone down in order the last 3 at-bats. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th coming up after this at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back to the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships. As you know, they're presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau, the sole title sponsor of the Girls High School Athletic Union. Iowa Farm Bureau believes in the Iowa girl, cultivating character, work ethic, and leadership on and off the field. By investing in Iowa's youth, you're investing in Iowa's future. So Lin-Mar now comes up with the 8 and 9 batters in the top of the order. It's Kaylee Alvey, the catcher, who singled to left her last time up and was stranded. And takes a ball on the first pitch from Truitt. She came in relief of Runyon. Runyon goes to first. Bushko goes from first to third. And there's a strike. 1-1.
Well, and you would think that Lin-Mar probably had some conversations there in the dugout in inning number 3 in between innings about the changeup Truitt throws, how we're going to approach attacking it now.
This one, chopped to the shortstop, fires. Bushko over the out. So Truitt came in, gave up a hit, but then is retired now the next 4 batters. So she's maybe settling in, and then what you said, those off-speed pitches.
And that's kind of what happened on Monday, too. First couple batters, it was tough to kind of gauge how she would do, but after she allowed a couple base runners to reach, really settled in nicely and kept the Rams at bay.
Karsten Michaels attempts to bunt and misses it on that off-speed for strike 1. She struck out looking her last time up.
Sorry, trying to be halfway down the line before the pitch even got to the catcher's mitt. That's how slow that one came in.
0-1 comes inside, fisted over. Somehow got that off the hands in between and over by the shortstop for a hit.
I know that ball only ended up in shallow left field, but you have to be a really strong hitter to take that pitch off the handle and still get it over the shortstop.
That brings up Bryn Gander, the freshman, grounded out and doubled her last time up. Doubled to right. This one hit toward right. Coming in, throwing to first. A good dive back. That was almost a double play as Hanks came in and fired immediately on the run. But Michael dives back in.
And it looks like a close play. It looks like she almost got doubled up. But that's exactly how you have to play that at first base, because you don't want to risk getting forced at second. You want to be able to get back to first. Coaches should show that clip on replay of how you run at first on a pop-up like that.
Hayden Coutney, the center fielder, takes the ball. (1-0), 2 outs now. We're at first. That one outside runner going and gets there.
What a toss.
Yeah. The Cedar Falls fans weren't happy, but she slid in way ahead of the tag.
That was about as perfect of a throw as you could have asked for. It was a change-up pitch, so it took a lot longer to get to home plate.
And she had a great jump on it.
Great jump, too. Yeah, that was perfect all the way around. It was just a better scenario to steal.
No, she thought about it. You could see her and then hold up on that. So trying to time those off speeds a little better here. Truig came in relief in the last inning. That one's low.
What makes the changeup so dangerous, too, and that's actually going to be ball 4.
Cool.
What makes the changeup so dangerous is even if you time it up well, unless it's in the zone, the best you're going to do with it is kind of weakly grounded on the infield. So sometimes it's better to just say, you know what, let it go. I don't want anything to do with it.
Brings up Emily Caranda. She doubled in 2 runs in her last at bat. Takes a strike here. Flight out to right and a great play by Hanks and right, and then the double to right. And now she's in the hole 0-1. This one ripped to the left fielder, Turner, who makes the play to end the inning. So no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. 4 complete, it's 5-0. The Cedar Falls coming up to bat in the top of the 5th here at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you, and you feel matters. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
At the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. We're talking about the wind. It had a little effect on the T-shirt cannon here in between innings. You have to shoot over that high net, and there was a couple that didn't quite make it, and then one that ended up, I think, in Duncombe. It went that far, and then finally one in the stands. But anyway, Dar Danielson, Daniel Versteeg. Cedar Falls comes up. Caranda's retired the last 10 batters. And so they'll have the 7, 8, 9 here as they're doing some more hydration between innings. So got to talk to that bottom lineup, say, hey, let's get going, get something rolling here, and try to turn it over.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right now because, with 10 batters retired in a row, you haven't had a base runner since the first inning. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a hit. Obviously, the biggest thing on that line score right now is 0 hits. But if you can get on with a walk or an error, just do something to create some offense, you put yourself in a good spot. But it's a lot easier said than done. Caranda's done a great job of inducing weak contact, making them get out in front of pitches, pop them up, do whatever she needs to, and her defense has had her back most of the game.
So the winner will face Northwest, who just came out on fire today.
Yes.
You did that game, and it looked like they might end it early, real early. They did end it a little early in the 5th on the new 8-run rule, but it looked like they were going to go 10 runs there early as they just were smacking the ball around, and then pitching-wise, they did pretty well too.
Yeah, they were a run away from ending it in the bottom of the 4th inning. Had a big 5-run third, 3 runs in the first, and as you said, I don't know if there is a better pitcher in the state of Iowa right now than Sophia Schlater. 4 hits, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. She's fantastic. It's going to be interesting to see regardless of who wins this game, who's going to have the better game plan to attack her? Because so far, nobody. I was looking at her line. She's 29-1. I mean, she just doesn't lose games that she pitches in. So, of course, that's for another day for these two teams.
But then you say that, and it's like, well, you get there, and it's your chance to take the shot.
Yep.
And all the pressure's on them, and
they're the number one team. They've got the target on their back. Lin-Mar and Northwest have kind of jockeyed for that position a few times throughout this season, regardless, kind of who won that week, who didn't win, all that kind of stuff. But, Cedar Falls might have something to say about it. Like you said, 10 batters in a row. I'm sure Coach Tepley used this time to try and fire them up, say, hey, you know what, it's been tough going up to bat. Let's try and make something happen and see if we can get those bats off the bat rack a little bit better.
And 5 is not out of the realm of possibility here.
They erased a 4-run deficit against Southeast Polk. They were down 10-6 and won the game 12-11. Yeah, it's certainly, and of course in that first inning against Southeast Polk they scored 5 runs, so they're very capable.
Carly Turner, the left fielder, she grounded out to short her last time up. She'll step in to the batter's box to face Emily Coranda. Alvey behind the plate for Lin-Mar. This one fouled back. And she steps back in. Turner, the sophomore.
And honestly, it's probably better that you got the bottom third of the order. It feels like when the bottom of the order starts a rally, it's more impactful than if, say, your star hitter does.
Yeah, it seems like you're a little borrowed money there,
right.
But,
It just gets that dugout really riled up, and it makes everybody else say, okay, they did it, now I got to do it,
yeah.
and they always seem to answer the call.
2-1 the count. Coranda said to her catcher, what's the count? And then she turns around to the umpire. Or wait, no, he says, well, the board says 3-0, but it's...
No, it's 3-1 because that would have been ball 4. So,
okay.
Yeah, we had it right.
Yeah. Three-one count. Swing and a miss. So, full count. Big pitch here because you can get the leadoff on with the walk.
A walk is really good here for Cedar Falls.
Base runners of any sort.
Yep.
This one fouled back.
And fighting off pitches is good, too.
Yeah.
You give yourself a chance to make her make a mistake because she wants to strike you out, obviously. She's throwing competitive pitches. You can keep fouling off those good ones. She'll give you a mistake in some form.
Here we go again. This one fouled off again. So this has gone to a 7-pitch at bat.
And sometimes, even if this at bat doesn't turn into a base runner, even just working the count, 8, 9, 10 pitches, that can fire up a dugout to start a rally.
Here's the payoff once again. This one is low, and Turner coaxes a walk out of it. So the leadoff walk brings up Kararachi, the catcher. She struck out looking her last time up.
Now it's the first base runner the Tigers have had since the first inning. See if they can do something with it.
This one popped up. Catcher draws a bead, and Alvey makes the play without having to move a whole lot.
Nope.
Well, number 1.
One of the more better pop-ups for a catcher to field. Sometimes if the rest of your infield can come in and help her out, you usually try and tell them to do that, but that one didn't have a whole lot of spin, wasn't really affected by the wind, and she was able to camp under it nicely.
Brings up Gabby Hanks, the right fielder. She's flashed some leather out in the outfield. Flight out to center her first time up and takes a strike here. Been busy out there, but here's the 0-1. Ball, 1-1.
It's a really good pitch, but an even better take. Some tail toward that outside portion of the plate. And, Hanks recognized it right away, knew to lay off.
1-1, hit right into right field. And Tigers have a little something going here as they turn the order over to the top.
And the first hit of the game for Cedar Falls as well comes in the 5th inning. Really well stroked and a nice job by Turner to get out of the way of that ball. She didn't want to record the out over there on the bases.
Yeah, and then that adds to the confusion, but the ball I think might have got through either way. Because the first baseman holder, there's this Lexi Churick now pitching. Takes a strike. Goes to bunt, pops it up. It's going to go foul, though.
Well, Tigers dodged a bullet there. The last thing you want to do when trying to bunt a runner over is pop it up.
Albie was coming down the line thinking if I catch this, I could maybe go to first, and double them up. But it dropped foul before she could get to it. 0-2 here on Trigg, the leadoff batter. She's now in the circle after starting at short. This one fouled off.
This is kind of exactly what Cedar Falls wanted. You get 2 out of your 3 bottom third hitters to get aboard. Give the top of the order some flexibility with an out, and see if they can start cutting into the deficit.
Now, Coranda, the umpire's ready to throw another ball after that one foul, but she called for that one for the umpire before he could put it in his bag. She likes that softball for some reason. And
she's gotten 2 strikes with it already. Keep it going.
This one popped up and caught again by Alvey as that off speed just a little late on it. So 2 pop-ups to the catcher.
Yeah, you could tell as soon as Truex brought the bat down, it was going to be tough to hold up. She was way out in front of it. It almost looked like she was kind of backhanding it with the bat, and that induces weak contact all the time.
This one, diving, grab, and the play! Carson Michael.
Fire up the Lion defense. That is a heck of a play. Potentially saved the shutout.
Watch this. The second baseman
got such a good read. No wasted step.
Dives, stops it from going, and
what an effort.
Throws her out and cuts off a potential rally here on the top of the 5th for Cedar Falls. You're watching the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Linn-Mar will come up at the bottom of the 5th off the great defensive play with 2 runners on to squeeze off the rally by Cedar Falls. Here's Cassidy, the sophomore third baseman, Annie Cassidy. Takes the ball.
She's having a great day. 2 for 2, RBI. Can't ask for much better when the lights are brightest at the state tournament.
And if that one gets under the glove of the second baseman, probably 1 run will score.
At least,
and there's a ball, 2-0.
Yeah, but as we said going into break, Michael, just a great effort. She was right on it, and she had to be just to have a chance to make that play.
And then again, when you're at second, you got a little more time.
You have some more time
you're
to throw.
Closer to first, but this one ripped into left field by Cassidy. She's 3 for 3.
Yeah, what a great day. And now you can tell Lin-Mar is starting to kind of time up that changeup a bit. Of course, it was a hitter's count, 2-0, so she's looking to swing anyway. And really nice job. You know, it's tough to hit a changeup out sometimes because you need the power, but she just deposits it to the outfield.
Brings up the shortstop, Emma Barnes, reach on an error, scored, fly it out. And she is the senior shortstop, one of their comeback stories. Out all last year with a broken ankle, but has come back. And now here, a big part of the state tournament team.
Yeah, what a story that is. You had a couple players miss with injuries last year for Lin-Mar. Couldn't quite get to the state tournament, but
yeah, Coranda was rehabbing an
ACL injury all season. Yeah.
Bunt laid down. She's on the run and pulls over. They can't get it.
Yeah, it would have been a tough play even if Runyon keeps her foot on the bag, and a really nice hustle up the line by Barnes. She's credited with a hit, and Lin-Mar's threatening 2 on, nobody out.
Now Lin-Mar 5 runs on 9 hits. Brings up the left fielder, Palmer, who sacrificed and struck out 0 for 1. She steps in with runners at first and second, no outs here. And placed down a beauty of a bunt. Thrown high and over the head of the first baseman.
Yeah, that had the possibility to have that happen. It was just a little rushed on the throw by the catcher.
Look at this. It just stops right outside the box. And, yep, she knew she had to rush it. And so Cassidy comes in. And Palmer at first.
Well, now this is a big spot for Cedar Falls, too, because the runner at first would end the game if she comes around to score.
So runners at the corners, no outs. Alexis Krug, the DP, grounded out, flied out as Palmer goes down to first. Or is that a runner for her? No, that's
Palmer.
That's
Palmer, yeah.
Okay, so now runners at second and third. And as you said, 8 runs after 5 now. 1 strike. Squares to bunt. Beautiful bunt down first baseline. They throw, get the out, run scores on the sacrifice.
Fortunately, that error might come back to haunt Cedar Falls because the winning run's now at third base. The Lions have an out to play with, so they can do pretty much whatever they want to finish this game. And look at this. Samantha Tepley's going to talk to all 9 defenders about how they want to play this.
Your first trip to state, you don't want to end it early.
Nope.
And they showed a little fight in that last inning, get a couple runners on, but that'll bring up Kaylee Alvey, the catcher. She singled to left, rounded out to short, so want to be sure everybody knows where they're going here with it. 1 out.
Well, you got to come home if you can, because, getting the out at first doesn't do you any good.
You try to bunt here again, maybe, or
I would.
Always hit the ball well, but we'll see what they do, yeah.
You just need a run, whatever it takes, right?
Fouls it off. Well, that answers that question. She's swinging away.
Shows you what we know, right?
Yeah.
But also sometimes you want to see, okay, how do they time the first pitch, and then you go for the bunt. Well, yeah, we'll see what they decide to do here with Alvey. She is 1 for 2, so she's been swinging well.
Senior catcher holds off on that one. That dropped in short. They appealed to first, said nope, she did not go. 1-1. Winning run at third. Now she bunts it. They come to home. And they got her. She thought she got around it.
Yeah, she's pretty adamant that she got around the tag, but I think the other thing would be, was she out of the base path when she was trying to come home to third? We're going to see it again. And a great quick flip.
No, she didn't go out of the base path, but she must have tagged her.
There was the point on the tag to home plate, so really nice job by the catcher, Rachi, to kind of get that glove over there and make sure she could get the tag on her and really keep the game going because of it.
Yeah, race that runner now that the ending run is at first on the fielder's choice, and you got your top of your order coming up. Brenna Gander grounded out to second, doubled and scored and flied out to right. Holds off that off speed.
And Michael's had a pretty good game here at the plate, too. She's 1 for 2, base hit in the fourth. This is certainly no guaranteed out.
But you're taking off the base hit would bring the run in.
Right. Yeah, it's going to have to be a gapper if she wants to end the game early here in the fifth.
Here's a 2-0. Swing and a miss. Oh, hit her.
Yeah, that's not going to feel good.
No, that came right in on the calf, there, didn't it?
Yeah, that sounded pretty hard. Hard fastball, and just couldn't get out of the way of it. Looks like we are going to get a runner again, and it's going to be the same courtesy for Kaylee Alvey, Ainsley Johnson.
For an IMT insurance substitution, learn IME worry free at IMTIMS.com. Brings up Hayden Countney, flied out, singled and scored. Takes a strike. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. That runner at second could end the game on the 8-run rule. Outside. Rachi will get up and make sure that runner gets back.
This is a really good part of the order if the Lions are to win it here in the fifth. Brenna Gander double. She's 1 for 3, so this is a good part in the order to try and make something happen.
This one lifted high.
Oh, what a catch.
Caught. Wow. I was kind of blocked there, but
now Turner made a great run into the alley and saved the game for now. It kept Cedar Falls in it, and they'll have a chance here in the sixth.
They got 3 runs on, 2 hits, an error, and 2 left on. 7-0, Cedar Falls coming to bat at the top of the sixth at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
We know that carrying your groceries out to your car seems a bit old school. That saying hello and asking about your day feels like a thing of the past. Being best at fresh, it's not just a fad. Serving high-quality meat at affordable prices? Talk about a throwback. But at Fairway, that's kind of our thing. Because some things never go out of style. Friendly at Fairway, it's more than just a name.
Here at the Girls State Softball Tournament, once again, I want to thank the Iowa Farm Bureau for presenting the tournament as the sole title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. The Iowa Farm Bureau honors both academic and athletic excellence. helping to nurture the next generation of Iowa leaders. So Cedar Falls hangs on, did what they had to do defensively to keep the game from ending early, and they had a couple runners on, and they'll start with the 3-4-5 batters here in this top of the sixth. Dar Danielson, Daniel Versteeg, and let's just get runners on and get some runs in.
And especially, like you said, 3, 4, and 5. This is the heart of your order, right? Fink, Runyon, Buskell usually sets them up nicely. This is the part of the order where if you're going to make it a little bit interesting here in the last couple of innings, they're going to get something started for you. And you just hope that they can make solid contact. I'm sure they're fired up because they're even given this chance here in the sixth inning, because it was close to being a situation where the game would end and they wouldn't get this chance in the sixth inning. So I think they're fired up that they get another few swings and trying to see if they can make something out of it.
And again, taking a little extra time for hydration. So the winner, this will be played Thursday at 7:30 over on the Channel Seeds field, which is the other one there. And that'll be on Iowa PBS for the championship matchups. And I think Brad Wells is calling that game. Yeah, I was trying to think. He's doing the 4-5.
Yeah, I think he's doing both games tomorrow, and then our good friend Paul Yeager's got
Paul
Friday.
Yeager, and I think Laura Leonard will do the 1, 2, 3.
Yep. So great. They're going to be great games. I mean, and if you can come out here for those games, you get the championship on one field. You got a big third place game over on this field. Usually, there are some really competitive games all throughout the day, Thursday, or all throughout the night on Thursday and Friday.
And yesterday we had the clouds out there, and that was nice, but I like those night games and the light up the trees out in the outfield, and it's just a great setting.
Yes, it is.
Here.
Yeah, we've had some, I don't know if you were here Monday night, but there were some gorgeous sunsets here in Fort Dodge. Nice orange and purple sky. It was tremendous. It was just a beautiful night for some softball.
And you had a wild last night with the game winner Clarksville.
I've had a wild both nights.
Yeah.
I had the PCM West Liberty game Monday night. That ended in a wild finish. Obviously, I had Cedar Falls Southeast Polk. That was a wild game. And then, Clarksville and Newman Catholic yesterday. So there's just been great games all the way up and down the state tournament. Sometimes in the quarterfinals, you get those run rules in the 1-8 matchup, but we've had 8 seeds win and upset teams.
Yep, and I did a couple of those matchups, 1-8, and the 8 seeds hung with them there.
In 4A, Pella's going to the championship. The 8 seed. They were supposed to be kind of thrown to the wayside by Cedar Rapids Xavier, but they've done an outstanding job of making it to the 4A chipper. And last I checked, it looked like North Polk's got a good shot of making it. They were up 9-2 when I last peeked over at that score.
So here's Kennedy Bushko. She's playing shortstop now. She almost a leaping catch by Carson Michael, but couldn't quite get it, and it gets in for a hit. Almost another great play by Michael. Last time she dove, this time she leaped, but it goes off the glove. And Cedar Falls is in business here to start the top of the sixth. Brings up Amanda Fink, the third baseman. That one's low.
Oh, this is exactly what the Tigers need. Leadoff base runner. See if your power bats can come through like they have all season.
Swing and a miss. Throw down, and that was close over at first. Finks has walked and struck out 0 for 1 on the day.
These two hitters are due, Fink and Runyon. They're due.
This one fouled back.
These guys don't stay down long. Coach Tepley says they've carried the Tigers offensively all throughout the season, and I look for that to continue here.
1-2. High 2-2. They had 2 on the last inning. Big defensive play kind of shut things off. Now here's the 2-2. This one fouled to the left.
So a little out in front of it, and you just got to find that sweet spot where you can get the good barrel to it and spray it around the outfield and see if you can get some base runners on the move.
That one's low.
Uh-oh.
Throw down! Just got under it. Push kill.
Boy, Kennedy Buskell is really tempting fate at first base.
Yeah, you don't want to get thrown out of an inning, give up a run. And
especially
now,
down 7-0.
Yeah, now the count goes full. This one, rip foul.
Yeah, she's just a little early on these pitches, man. If she can back off just a bit, and she's making really good contact. She's going to have a base hit at some point.
Credit Coranda. She knows they're anxious to get, get some runs in, and so
they're going to be jumpy.
Moving it around a little bit. So the 3-2 again. This is 7 pitch at bat now for Fink. Now she steps out.
Yep. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to calm the moment. You control your tempo in the batter's box.
Swing and a miss. Struck her out.
Huge K. That's exactly what had to happen. A big strikeout, and you at least got through one. Biggest thing is getting through Runyon now, too.
5 strikeouts for Coranda. Now, Runyon, who was intentionally walked in the first, grounded out to first, fouls the first pitch off.
Yeah, she was intentionally walked in that first inning after fouling the first pitch off.
Yeah,
so she's already behind 0-1.
And it loaded the bases, and that ended up being big because it could have been a big first inning there for the Tigers. That one gets by the catcher. The runner will go down on a pass ball. Didn't get by very far, but far enough that the way Bushkill been getting off at first over there. Now she's at second. But still, you can't. You got to chip away at it.
Yes, you do.
You got to.
You can't hit a 7-run homer.
No, you got to, at least in this inning, chip it down. Swing and a miss. And a strikeout.
Wow. Back-to-back strikeouts of Amanda Fink and Sydney Runyon. That is stone cold from Coranda in the circle. That is an outstanding couple of batters that she has faced and has put down on strikes.
Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter here, which is 15. I'm trying to find, that would be Josie Turner for an IMT insurance substitution. Or now you can be worry-free at IMT.com. IMTINS.com, excuse me.
Well, and this pinch hitter comes in a big spot. She hit the go-ahead 2-run homer against Southeast Polk on Monday, made it 12-10. She's going to try and prove that Coach Tepley is knowing what she's doing again here in this 6th inning.
It's a ball, 1-1.
And it's worth noting her home run came after she hit a really deep shot foul down the left field line, then was able to straighten out and hit one out to the left center.
Low. They throw down to second. It gets into the outfield, but the center fielder's out there to back it up.
And, I like the aggression from Alvey behind home plate. You want to get the third out. You want to fire up your team that way by getting the out on the bases.
But you don't need it.
You don't need it. In a 7-0 game, focus on the batter, get her out.
Don't give them anything away.
Exactly.
Just
you don't want to fire up that dugout anymore.
No, you got 2 outs. This one popped up on the infield. Third baseman over, catches it in fair territory. And that will end the threat for the Tigers there. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th here for Linn-Mar. And they'll have the 2-3-4 batters due up here at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Which is good because I get back here at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. Trip to the championship game on the line here. Lin-Mar leading 7-0. Tigers threatened there in that last inning again, but were shut out with a couple strikeouts there. And that brings up Kothe, the center fielder, flied out, singled, scored, and walked, so 1 for 2 with a run scored. There's a strike.
And again, of course, 1 run would win the game here for the Lin-Mar, so every base runner is precious for the Lions if they want to try and end it before the 7th.
There's ball.
And who would have thought after how competitive, by and large, I know we had one run rule in the quarterfinal round in 5A. Who would have thought that both semis would be threatening one with a run rule, one a run away from a run rule? That's kind of wild to think about.
That one's high. 2-1.
5A's been so tight and competitive all season, especially with these two, and then a lot of the CIML schools, Pleasant Valley coming over as well.
That one high, so 3-run for Truick to Coranda, the pitcher. Truick came on a relief back in the 3rd. This one hit deep back off the wall. And Coranda's gonna cruise in with a stand-up double for a Channel Seeds extra base hit. All those brought to you by Channel Seeds. Learn more at channel.com/rise. So now, potential game ender at second. The second double for Coranda of the day. And it brings up Cassidy, who's 3 for 3, 3 singles, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Takes a ball. That for the sophomore third baseman.
And again, Cedar Falls put in the tough spot after that leadoff double. Got to get some strikeouts. That would help your cause here, I think, in this inning.
This one lifted high towards center. Center fielder over her head. Run's going to hold up though at third. And Stanek had trouble with that late.
I think it hit the heel of her glove, which, is the hardest part of the glove to try and squeeze.
It's looking up in the sun, too, a little bit now with the wind. So
it seemed like it was kind of a perfect storm for her to mishandle that ball, and a very costly error. Winning runs at third for Lin-Mar, and it looks like the Lions are going to bring in a runner for Coranda, and that's going to be McKinley Sweet.
McKinley Sweet, who scored a couple pinch run runs in the quarterfinal. IMT Insurance Substitution brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free at IMTIMS.com. Emma Barnes steps in. She reached on an error, flied out to right, singled and scored. And takes a ball. So Coranda, or Sweet rather, right?
Yep.
At
Sweet at second.
There's a ball.
And with the infield in, they have to, right?
Yeah.
1 run wins it. Not a forced play, but you got to try and save your championship hopes here in the 6th.
That one's low.
And a walk's not the worst thing in the world. That run means nothing to Cedar Falls or Lin-Mar. It does create a force play at home plate.
And walks her. So bases loaded here for Mallory Palmer, the left fielder. She sacrificed, struck out, and reached on an error. So 0 for 2 on the day. This one through the hole, that'll do it. Single scores the run, and Lin-Mar will advance to the title on 8-0 in 6 innings. Cedar Falls gave them a fight, but just could not get over the top, get some runs in here.
Yeah, it was a really strong performance by Emily Coranda in the circle again. Complete game victory on Monday, allowing a run. Complete game, 1-hit shutout here in this one. Just a strong performance here for the Lions. And it'll be number 1 versus number 2 for the championship coming up tomorrow night.
And we'll have the ceremony to advance on the bracket.
And now, Alexis Cruz and Annie Cassidy, please advance your team on the bracket to the championship.
Happy Lions in the circle out there. And get the pictures. And thanks to Daniel Versteeg, Devin on the controls here today, and another championship set. Thank you again, Daniel.
Yep, it was my pleasure, Dar. This was fun, and yeah, the 5A championship's going to be great tomorrow night.
All right, that's going to wrap it up here. The 5A championship is set. Milwaukee Northwest and Lin-Mar Thursday night, 7:30. I'm Dar Danielson. That wraps it up here at the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.